Hey guys, I wanted to come to you today with a book review or show you the books that I have read in January and February. I only read one in January because I started reading, trying to use up some of my books. I have a lot of serious books back there and I needed some other ones, so I went to the dollar store and the Goodwill and charity shop and a used bookstore and got some other books to put in there that are lighter, funnier books. So I did that, but I wanted to let you know what I did get through, and I'll let you know if it's something that I have bought recently or if it is something that I've had in my stash for a while. So the first one I went through was this book. I bought it in November, but it didn't get here until late December. I don't know why it took so long, but it did. And it's the Hygge Holiday. And I was doing the Hygge, you know, the lights off. I still do that. I don't burn as many candles now, tea lights right now. But yeah, I got into this and I really liked it. It's a cute book. It's a cozy book, kind of a romance, but the romances were just, there was no, they weren't good romances. I mean, you knew they were going to get together, but there was no, passion, or it was just kind of sloppily put together that these people were gonna get together is what it was. But it's a cute book. It's a good book. Would I read it again? Yeah, I would. And I especially like the Hygge aspects of it. The lady in here, there's one lady that owned a toy shop. She's kind of a free spirit and she changes her mind on doing things all the time. And this other girl, younger girl comes in from another country. She used to be a financial person in London and it took over her life, and then she learned about Hygge, and something tragic happened in her life in her country, her home country, and so she just happens to walk into this village at the time, and this lady was like, oh, you're here so you can take over my shop, and I'm gonna go gallivant everywhere else. And her son's like, wait a minute, who's this person? He comes in. So it's a really good book, but yeah, the romances, they don't quite come together like a romance should. But yeah, I would still read it again because it's that cute. This book. And that I bought in November. This one is one that I bought at the dollar store several years ago. I actually thought that this might be a funny book because it says on it that it's a funny book. As shrewd as it is hilarious, I think I laughed one time. This book, the author, I have germ OCD, and every character in this book, except for one, has the most disgusting houses, and they spelled it out in vivid terms. And when I read a book, I see a movie in my head. So it was literally disgusting, and I would not recommend this book. I got it at the dollar store. I made myself finish it because I started it, and so yeah, when some people say it's hilarious, a book is hilarious, it's not necessarily hilarious. I don't know who this would be hilarious for, but it's a Vietnam vet, and he's an alcoholic. And then there's a student. For this book that he just put out. Well, it's actually, the book is, I think, it just gained traction because it's set back in the early 90s, and so they sent him off on a low-budget book tour, and this kid ends up driving him around. And it takes some twists and turns that I did not see coming. But yeah, with every character in there, it was just disgusting. My skin was crawling. So yeah, this one I would not recommend. I had this one in my collection. It's Anna Kendrick's Scrappy Little Nobody. This I would give a 1 star to, maybe 2. I don't know. This I would say a 4 star. I liked it, but it wasn't 5-star worthy. There's only one in here that is 5-star worthy. I'd give 5 stars to this one. This just goes, this just tells you about Anna's personality. She tells you about her personalities. The stories are freaking hilarious. Basically, the person she is in Pitch Perfect, that personality she has, is kind of who she is. It really is. She's got a really funny personality. So, yeah, this was a good book, and she tells some good stories. She goes through her life, how she got into the thing. She doesn't go into, you know, like, she mentions Pitch Perfect in here once or twice, and some other movies that she's been in, but she doesn't go into her movie stuff that much. It's just stories about her life, the funny things that happens to her. So that one I would give a 4. This is the Little Book of Hygge, and this is supposed to tell you, explain to you what Hygge is and give you examples and everything. Personally, it was this guy, he does research for the Happiness Research Institute in Copenhagen, and he had a lot of facts. And a lot of this stuff, he would give you some things that you were supposed to do for Hygge, but to me, it just kept repeating itself. And I was like, I've heard this like 15 times in here, dude. A lot of people absolutely love it. So I would give it probably a 3. Because it did have some good ideas, but quit repeating yourself. Driving me nuts. I got this one at the Goodwill before I went on my 1 week that I took vacation days, and I went to all the Goodwills and the dollar stores I could find. The week before I got this book, and this is Allie's House by Leila Meacham. I don't know. But she is the best-selling author of Roses, and this is one of her first books. And it was a good book, very interesting, kind of kept you on the edge of your chair. There is a romance in here, but again, it did not, there was no passion. It just kind of, almost like it was a forced thing. They just got together because that was the thing to do, the right thing to do. It wasn't, and she says somewhere, I think in the front of the book, it says she is trying to write the book to fill her obligations to the publisher, and she says, don't judge me too much on this. And I don't know what The Roses is. I've never read that, but I would like to read it because it's a New York Times bestseller. So I read some of other people's reviews, and they had the same thoughts as me, that the romance was kind of pushed together. So I'd read it again. It's a very interesting book, but I definitely want to check out The Roses and see how she grew as a writer. I got this one at the dollar store last week, or a couple weeks ago. I've lost my mind now. It's called The White Elephant. The White Elephant is this huge house that a guy came in as a developer, and he decided he was going to tear all these 1900 to 1920 homes down, and he was going to come in and he was going to build these big mansions and everything. So he built his house over here, tore a bunch of things down, and then there was another one that he never finished. He was working on it, trying to finish it, and it was called The White Elephant, and that was what it was called. And he gets into it with the next door neighbor because he comes in and he thinks he owns the place. It was a quaint little town outside of DC. He cuts this guy's tree down next door because it was a tree planted for his daughter, and it takes off, and the guy next door is obsessed with the trees, and then a bunch of stuff starts happening through the town. The relationships in here are very interesting. I found this to be a very, very good book, so I would give this one 4 stars. Because after I read it, I actually missed the characters. I was like, I wish there was another book behind this so we could keep following the characters, because they were so interesting. So this was from the dollar store, and it was good. So sometimes you get crap that it says it's going to be funny and it's good, and it's disgusting. And sometimes you get a really good book. So that's why I pick them up, because for $1, if they don't turn out well, I can throw them in the Goodwill stack or something and keep on walking. It's not going to break the bank. Another one that I got through was A Night Without Armor, poems by Jewel. I got this at the Goodwill, and I got another book of poetry, because I've never read poetry books, so I got 2 of them. And the other one is The Best Love Poems of Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. So I was reading Jewel's poems. She calls them poems. I don't. I will tell you that the very last poem in this book is the only poem that I liked. These should be called short stories, essays, something of that, or one of them is like a statement. It was called Junkie, and basically what it says is Mama told you how it's going to turn out, or something. Can tell you how you're going to turn out. That was the end of the poem. I was like, really? So I did not like this at all. And I thought it was just me, and then I went and I found Jacqueline Kennedy's book, and I read the poems in here. Totally different, totally elegant. This should not have been poetry. This should have been something else. And somebody wrote in a review, it's like journal entries that were turned into poems. Like she wrote it down in her journal, and I totally agree with that review. I read this one. I got this one at the used bookstore here in town. It is Janet Ivanovich. I have read the biggest majority. I've read up to 26. We're up to 28 now, so I have 2 more books of hers that I can read. I got this back when I had my pinched nerve, and or I got the other book for my pinched nerve, and when I was reading books, I was messing it up. Now I've learned how to read without messing it up. But I love these books. This would definitely be a 4-star book. This one, I would say a 1 star, because I did not like it at all. And The White Elephant, a 4-star. I can't remember if I told you what this I would say 3 maybe. Wasn't the best. And then the last book that I read, and I finished this last night. I stayed up because I was so into it. This book made me laugh. It made me cry. It's a book that's been in my stash. Actually, it was a book that was sitting under my camera for the longest time. And it's Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. And if you like him, he can tell a story, and it can be absolutely freaking hilarious. I mean, I was laughing so hard at some of the things. And he and his mom could laugh through tragedy and stuff. So I learned so much about his home country, South Africa, what went on over there, and his family life, how he turned out to be who he is today. Is amazing that he did, and that he became who he is today. I love books about people. I read the Anna Kendricks. I have this. I have a Michelle Obama. I have 2 books for Barbara Bush. I have a book that is for Demi Moore. I like to read about people and see what made them who they were. And out of all 9 books that I read this month, this is the best one. This is the 5-star, the only 5-star. I love Gina Davanovich. Could it be a 5-star? Yeah, because I have read her books over and over and over again. So I guess you would call that a 5-star. I just love the whole series. So yeah, let's say that's a 5-star because I read her books over and over again. Her and Julie Garwood. I have all their books in Julie Garwood, her modern books. I have all of them. I used to have all the past books that she did in historical books, romances, but I got rid of those and now I just have her modern romances. But the modern people come from the people that she used to write about. So Julie Garwood and this Stephanie Plum series are 5 stars. And then this one was a 5-star. So 4 5-star on the Jane Ivanovich, but this one is definitely a 5-star just because of the content. That content is something that I read, I read and it's fun and it's whatever. If you want a funny book, you want characters that you see time and time again through 28 books to this point, get this. It is freaking hilarious. I will tell you that if you get the first book, it does start out slow, but you get to learn all the characters, and once you've learned the characters, it's game on. So, but yeah, this is my number 5-star book. I love this book. I'm definitely keeping this book, and I'll probably read it again because I really enjoyed it. So he's really good at it. He does do the audio book, so I think that would be kind of cool to hear that. Anna Kendrick's does hers. I didn't listen to them. I had the books here, so I didn't want to pay to listen to that. I guess I could have read it at the same time as it was going, but... So if you all are reading any books, let me know ones you're enjoying, you didn't like. If you've read any of these, if you like them, you don't like them. If you have any book recommendations, please leave them down in the comments. I would love to know what books you all would recommend. I have books all over the place and literally every genre. I don't have any fantasy, but I have a lot of them here. So if you all let me know on that, and I am going to film a couple of hauls that I've done, and I will see you guys next month with what I read in March. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, please do. I would love to have you here, and I will see you guys in my next video. Have a good day. Bye.